kids, Miss Kaylee here, and we are on our final week of our Opposite Day series. And we've just been talking about how Jesus said and did things on earth that were opposite of what we'd expect. And of course, we're going to continue on that today. And we're in Luke chapter 9, verses 28 through 36. And in these verses, Jesus begins by taking 3 of his disciples, Peter, James, and John, up onto a mountain to pray, right? And Jesus is God's son. He spoke to God often, but Jesus designated specific times to just have some quality time with God. And this is one of those moments. So they get up on the mountain and something amazing happens. Jesus begins to glow. What? And then something even more amazing happens. The figures of Moses and Elijah appear. Now, remember, Moses and Elijah were pretty important people in the Bible, and the disciples knew this. So Peter, who was just so amazed by everything that was happening, said, we need to build shelters up here. We need to stay up on this mountain. And then a voice from heaven speaks. They're surrounded in a cloud, and a voice from heaven speaks, and it says this is my son whom I have chosen. Listen to him. And everyone up on the mountain was probably pretty confused about who said that. So who do you think said those words? It was God. God spoke. And right as God spoke, the disciples looked to Jesus and they noticed that he was alone. Right? And in that moment, Jesus didn't just become God's son. Jesus had been God's son the whole time. But everyone on that mountain knew without a doubt that Jesus was God's son. Jesus wasn't glowing anymore. God wasn't speaking. Moses and Elijah weren't up there anymore. He was all alone. But because of this experience, the disciples knew. They didn't have to question anymore. They knew who Jesus was and that he was God's son and that he would be with them always. And that leads us to our big idea, which is Jesus is with us even though we can't see him, right? Jesus is with us even though we can't see him. He made a promise. Even though he's not here physically, we know that he is with us always. And I can't wait for you guys to learn more about that this week. See you soon.
Hey friends, I have to be quiet because it's bedtime and everyone is asleep. I should be sleeping too, but sometimes at bedtime, I just want to stay awake, which is the opposite of sleeping. Do you ever feel that way? I try to make myself tired by counting sheep in my head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The sheep in my imagination started dancing, and that made me want to dance. And before I knew it, I was dancing along to the sheep hop on my bed.
Shake, shake, rock and roll. Shake, shake, rock and roll. Shake, shake, rock and roll. Shake, shake, rock and roll.
Then, my mom said to turn off the lights, be quiet, and go to sleep. So that didn't work. Then, I tried to make myself tired by thinking about what I would have to do tomorrow. But that thought turned into what I might wear tomorrow. And before I knew it, bam! I was at the Cali Fashion Extravaganza, and I was walking the runway up and down my bed and posing for pictures. And my mom said to turn off the lights, be quiet, and go to sleep. I guess I should turn off my flashlight and really try to get some sleep. Oh, there is one really cool thing about my room when it's dark that always makes me feel calm and maybe even tired. Watch this. Isn't that awesome? All these stars were there all along. We just couldn't see them until the lights were completely out. I'm gonna gaze at the stars while we check our Bible story for today.
It's time for today's Bible story. Today's story is from the book of Luke, chapter 9. One day, Jesus took 3 of his disciples, Peter, James, and John, and walked up a mountain to pray. While Jesus was praying, something amazing happened. Jesus began to shine as bright as a star in the sky. His face and even his clothes were bursting with light. But that's not all. Two men named Elijah and Moses appeared next to Jesus. Moses and Elijah were very important people who lived a long, long time ago. They loved God and told others how to follow God. They lived and died many years before Jesus came to earth, but they showed up on that mountain and talked with Jesus. Peter, James, and John had been sleeping, but when they woke up, they couldn't believe their eyes. They saw Jesus shining very brightly next to Moses and Elijah. Then a cloud came down and surrounded them all. And then they heard a voice. It was God. God spoke to Peter, James, and John, saying, "This is my son, whom I have chosen. Listen to him." The disciples always saw that Jesus was different, special, and powerful. That's why they chose to follow him. But now they knew he wasn't just different. He was the Son of God. It was like they were really seeing Jesus for the very first time. Jesus had always been the Son of God, and he'd been right there with them the whole time, but they just hadn't really seen it until that moment. We might not be able to see Jesus like his friends did, but Jesus is with us even though we can't see him.
Sometimes I wish I could see Jesus the way that the disciples did. But it is so cool to know that Jesus is with us even though we can't see him. It's like the stars on my walls. I can't really see them until I turn all the lights out. But I know that they're there all the time. Jesus always being with me all the time makes me feel calm and safe and... Wait a minute. Maybe... Yep! Sleepy. I actually feel like I can fall asleep now. Thank you, Jesus, for being with me all the time, even though I can't see you. And thank you, friends, for growing and learning with me. See you all next time. Bye.
Corinthians 12, verse 9a. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness.
Well, hello, goodbye, little corn dog nuggets. It's me, not Carl. Welcome to Grow TV. It's me, Carl. It's opposite. We're doing the opposite thing still.
Welcome to Grow TV. Hosted by Carl, where we have fun with our friends, talk about Jesus, and go over everything the Bible has to offer. Now once again, welcome to Grow TV.
Well. That's 3 wells. Math. Hello. Welcome to the greatest TV show on this little planet, what can I like to call planet? And boy, oh boy, do we have a show for you. Now, I was doing my research last night when I came across this amazing fact. Multiple crazy facts, actually. Like, for example, did you know that nostrils only work 1 at a time? Isn't that wacky? Go on, try it. It's impossible. Or did you know that Scotland's national animal is a unicorn? Really? I ain't joking. Google it. Go on. I'm kidding. Put your phone down, you little rascal. But what fact really blew my mind is that people all around the world believe in something that they can't see. You hear how ridiculous that sounds? I mean, imagine being a person who believes in things they can't see. How weird of a person would you have to be?
Carl!
Oh, hey, Andy. How you doing?
Good, man. Just hoping to talk to someone who doesn't believe in things they don't see.
Andy, that's exactly what we were talking about.
No way, that's crazy. Also, Carl, how can you possibly believe just because you can't see something that isn't real? That makes no sense at all.
Because that's the truth. Name one thing that I believe in that I can't see.
Okay, feelings.
Those ain't real.
Okay, Carl, I think you smell like day-old cereal and your sweaters are ugly. Did that hurt your feelings?
Feelings? What feelings? There's no feelings over here.
Okay, what about gravity?
If gravity were real, would this happen? Okay, next one.
How about air?
Air? Air? I'll show you air.
And you're gonna pass out in 3, 2. There it is.
Okay, what else you got?
All right, how about Jesus?
Jesus? Of course Jesus is real.
So you've seen Jesus.
Pictures and paintings
Oh, but you've touched Jesus.
with my beautiful words of prayer, probably.
Carl.
What are you getting at, Andy?
Easy. I'm just saying you may have it all wrong about this whole see it to believe it thing.
What makes you so sure? Because it sounds like the opposite should be true. Believe only what you can see.
But that's where faith comes in.
What do you mean?
Faith, it's the confidence in what we hope for. It doesn't have to be seen. Now let's look at the Transfiguration.
The transfigure whaty?
The Transfiguration, it's in Luke chapter 9.
All right, what happened?
Well, Jesus took Peter, James, and John up to a mountain to pray.
Sounds pretty normal.
And when Jesus began to pray, his face changed.
Not so normal.
And his clothes became as bright as lightning.
Yeah, this isn't normal.
And then suddenly, out of nowhere, Elijah and Moses magnificently showed up right before them.
Wait, Moses and Elijah? Like the prophets Moses and Elijah. Like, didn't they die like a long time ago? What's happening?
So Peter got all nervous, right? He started talking, and then suddenly God spoke and says this is my son, whom I have chosen. Listen to him.
Wow, I cannot imagine being there with the disciples and the prophets and Jesus. Imagine getting to be with Jesus all the time. How cool would that be?
Right? I mean, think about it, Carl. What would you do if Jesus was with you all of the time?
Oh man, what wouldn't I do? If I knew Jesus, the creator of the world, the savior of all humanity, was with me, Carl, forever? I'd chase my dreams. I'd stand up for what's right. I'd be the bravest and most honorable man and the most humble man to ever live.
Okay, well, I have very good news.
Is it Beans Day again?
No, the good news is that Jesus is with you forever, all of the time.
What are you talking about?
You see, even though the disciples saw miracles and the Transfiguration, they never truly understood who Jesus was. Jesus didn't just suddenly become God's son, he always was. But it was on that mountain that those 3 disciples knew for sure. They saw the truth with their own eyes.
But I wasn't on the mountain, Andy. How does that work for me?
That's where faith kicks in. No, we don't see Jesus with our own eyes, but because of what the Bible tells us, we can believe that he is real, that he is God's son, and that he will always be with us.
I mean, I've always believed in Jesus, but I've never known what to say to people who ask for proof of Jesus. So I made a hologram of Jesus, but it really didn't seem to help. It actually kind of confused them.
Oh, wow, I'm shocked. That's actually like a really good depiction of, yeah.
Cool though, right? It moves.
Really good.
I know, right? I guess I could talk to them about having faith though, right?
Of course, our faith will become stronger and stronger the more we come to realize that just because we don't see Jesus doesn't mean he's not with us all of the time.
Hi kids! Wow, what a cool story, right? And it brings us to such a cool big idea, which is...
Jada?
Hey Carl, what's up?
It's just that like since it's like opposite day and like it's just well
We want to do the big idea.
Oh, of course, be my guest.
Haha, yes.
Okay, what are we supposed to say?
Today's big idea is
Today's big idea is
Jesus
is
with us even though
we can't see him. Nailed it.
Great work. Okay, let's say it out loud with the kids, all right? Ready? I'm gonna count the opposite way this time. 3, 2, 1.
Jesus is with us even though we can't see him.
Good job. Now, that wraps up this week's episode of Grow TV, but I can't wait to see you on our next one, okay? I'll see you then. Bye.
Thank you for watching and tune in next week for a new episode of